Hello, everybody from the center of Florida. Welcome to the AG News Show. I'm Roberto Alvarez-Galloso, and I have here Feena Bonoan, or Feena Bonoan. For me, it's a pleasure and an honor having her. The reason why I'm doing this interview is that I too am a libertarian, and I'm also a believer that diversity without diversity of thought is dictatorship. For me, Feena, it is a pleasure and honor having you on such a short notice. And thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I want you to tell the whole world, because this is a program that is broadcast to the whole world. Why the Libertarian Party for Florida? What are your reasons? You're running for U.S. Senate. I have it understood. What are your reasons for running, and what is your platform for the U.S. Senate for the Libertarian Party in Florida?
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. And it is Feena Bonoan. Like you be knowing somebody. Why the Libertarian Party? Well, as you all know, that our current government is made up of Republicans and Democrats, and it's about a 50-50 spread. And when you have the kind of government that we have now that's really corrupt and just looking out more so for their donors, their PACs, their special interest, and their party than the people, we have a problem with our government. Our government has grown too large. It's gotten in charge of too many people's lives in the places that it should not be. I love the Libertarian Party personally. I've always been a Libertarian. I came to the Libertarian Party because I did my research as a young adult and found out that the Libertarian Party exists. Also, I had an uncle that was involved in the Libertarian Party. He's no longer involved there, but I stuck around because I liked the platform. It made sense. It's limited government and maximum freedom. And that's what I'm running on here in Florida for U.S. Senate. Limited government and maximum freedom. When you have a libertarian in the Senate, it changes everything, because you're not going to have someone that's going to go in there and just toe the party lines and vote however someone tells them to vote or how a lobbyist says they should vote. They're going to go in there and they're going to represent you, the people, in the best way possible, by limiting the size and scope of the government and ensuring maximum individual liberties and freedoms. You know, when you think of things in terms of the current duopoly that we have as Republican and Democrats, libertarians in the middle, they meet issues on both sides. They're not saying that you can be pro-choice and but what about your Second Amendment, right? So that's where the Libertarian Party comes in. We are the middle. Like, some people call us extremists. I think of us as the middle, where most people are, where they want minimum government, they want a fruitful economy, they want less taxes, less licensings and fees, and they want more of the government that actually helps, right? Like in time of crisis, in time of emergencies, that's what we want. We want a government that's going to go and make deals with other countries to open the trade, not close it off. So a little bit about me is I was born here in Florida. I was raised in North Carolina. I was in the military for 10 years. And while I was in the military, I was also a community relations coordinator in several countries in Europe. And my last tour, I was a prison guard, where I have a firsthand experience in the criminal justice system and how it's broken and needs to be fixed. And we need to get back to the Constitution, how it was written. If you know anything about the Constitution, a lot of it has to do with the criminal justice system. So that's kind of my background. I did come here to Florida in this past year. I moved here from Hawaii, where I spent the last 10 years. And that's why I ran for state senate in 2020. Now, you remember 2020 was like COVID, and I was in the most oppressive state in the union in Hawaii. And let me tell you how oppressive it was. When I left Hawaii last year, they were still having mask mandates. That's a, so of course I ran. I ran right after I graduated from college. So I was in the military for 10 years, then went straight from the military into college and graduated classic Corona on a Zoom meeting, which totally sucked. I was the first person in my family to ever complete a college degree, and I couldn't invite anybody. I didn't have any kind of celebrations. It was a Zoom meeting. And I also ran in 2022 for US Senate in Hawaii as well. And that was a fun race. And I'm the kind of person that I want to get involved and I want to help people. And I choose this path of libertarianism because it's most honest. And we need more honesty in politics. And I actually enjoy going out and campaigning. I enjoy meeting people and talking to people. And I love to do the work. And that's what I want to bring is I want to bring that that honest work back into the government, right? I don't think they're all crooks. I know they can't be. I worked in the prison system for the military people, and one of the first things we learned was no one joins the military to be a dirtbag. They end up there. And I can't imagine that people go to work for the government to screw the government over, to screw the people over, and to get into corruption. I think it just happens, and they don't even know that it's wrong. And we just need a reset of our moral compass. We need somebody that's going to go in there and actually going to read the bills. We need somebody that's going to go in there, and when it's not right and it's not okay, to speak up, say something, and propose a solution. Let's see. I think I covered everything. I'm running for US Senate. I'm a libertarian, and you want to know anything else about me, or we good?
We just covered everything about you, Feena.
I felt like it.
I want to congratulate you because you have managed to explain what is libertarianism, not just to those who are libertarians. I'm a libertarian myself, although I discovered the party in the late 90s. I sort of like had a libertarian spirit. I was born in Ohio. My parents were from Cuba. And before that, they were from Spain. So that sort of put me on a libertarian path. I was never a Democrat. I was briefly a Republican in the Reagan era, but I was never a Republican. I was, again, more libertarian. I picked up my libertarianism as an 11-year-old when I was in Germany as an exchange student. And let us put it this way, when the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, that's when the libertarianism that I had cropped up. I already had enough. I was already a libertarian, but it cropped up with the fall of the Berlin Wall. And
That
then,
gives me chills.
and then I found out in the mid-90s that there was a Libertarian Party. I had left the Republican Party after Reagan and after the Berlin Wall. In other words, when the Berlin Wall fell in 1989 and Ceausescu was executed in Romania, I heard the whole thing on my shortwave radio. I had my, what they call in Spanish, a libertarian moment. All of my family members was in the Christmas dinner when I had the libertarian moment. Everybody wanted to kill me. The ones here in Miami and the ones that were visiting from Cuba. But again, I stuck to my guns because I, like you, have the same belief, although it was from a different background. Ohio, very restricted. Cuba was a dictatorship. Spain never had a democracy until 1978. And somehow in Germany, of all places, Germany, I was in a very libertarian, liberal area in the border with Switzerland. And of course, living in Venezuela also helped too. We had a libertarian school also, even though it was an American high school. We were all libertarians. But you explained the libertarian policy. You explained how and what you would do differently than what others will do. And I commend you for that. It is for this reason that I vote libertarian every 4 years. And again, I want to wish you the best in your campaign. You have my
Thank you.
support. I found out about you because Bernard Ruse told me about you. I also talked with another libertarian from California, Malagon. And I've interviewed him because the purpose is to promote diversity in opinions. And for me, it's
Can
a
I share?
pleasure having you. Go
Can
ahead.
I share one? Can I share one last thing with you?
Sure. We're recording, but go ahead.
Okay. From what I can tell, most of your audience are Spanish speakers. And I speak a little Spanish, learned it in high school and had friends outside of high school. But I wrote a song for a film that I made, and it's in Spanish. And it's the Pledge of Allegiance. And if you'll entertain me,
Go
I
ahead.
will sing it for you. Okay. Yo juro fidelidad a la bandera de los estados de Unidos de América y a la república que está representa una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos.
Thank you, Feena. You touched my heart. Yes, I do have a majority Spanish-speaking audience, but I also have an English-speaking audience as well that I want them to know about the libertarian principles. I have also interviewed Spanish-speaking libertarians so that one day libertarian ideas could take root in Spain and in Latin America.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely a movement going on around the world. I told you I just came from Hawaii, and a good friend of mine, I actually took economics from him, famous economics libertarian, Ken Schoolin. He's got a book. It's called Jonathan the Gullible, and it's been transcribed into over 30 different languages around the world. And it's through art that ideas spread. Like, we like to think that these ideas are going to spread if we keep yelling at the TV and yelling at our friends and telling them that they're stupid and everything, but that's not how an idea soaks in and absorbs. It's through art. It's through the audience's reflection and interpretation of what's being presented. And people that are making books right now, making music, making films, you turn on the TV and watch, even old episodes of The Daily Show, right? Jon Stewart was always talking about the Ron Paul campaign and talking about libertarianism. There's just been this almost like just like a hush campaign against libertarianism for years. And I think it came really after Gary Johnson in the 2020 campaign, a whisper campaign. That's what it's called, whisper campaign. And it's because the other two parties' candidates sucked so bad that they wanted to, gaslight the people into thinking that they only have two choices, when in reality they have more. And that article that you sent me earlier today, I read, and it's the quote in the article said that the DNC is looking into third-party candidates to ensure that they're not just circumventing the rules. And I ask myself, whose rules and what rules are they talking about? Are they talking about the ones in the Constitution where you only have to be 35 and a natural born citizen of the US to run for president? Or are they talking about their own inter-party rules that they come up with on conventions? Yeah, I think that's it.
The thing why I sent you that article is because I have the quote, and I will gladly give you the quote so you could use it in your campaign. Please use the quote that I said in the beginning of our show, which we're still taping.
Okay.
Diversity without diversity of thought is dictatorship.
I like that.
It's
I
my
like that a
saying.
lot.
I will gladly let you use it, but please quote me on it. Roberto Alvarez-Galloso. I will also write it to you on the Instagram. But
Okay.
the reason why I sent you the article is two reasons. Number one, the Democrats and Republicans, who I love to call the two-headed hydra snake, have talked about, no, your vote is wasted. You don't if you have to vote for the lesser evil. And my response has always been, voting for the lesser evil is still voting evil. And if you say that my vote is wasted, why do you take the pains in denying other candidates the rights to present themselves? Why does it have to be Republicans and Democrats? And
Can I tell you?
I even go further. Since I've been since just like you, I've visited the world. What right does the United States have to talk about democracy and freedom to the people of Iraq or Afghanistan or even Latin America, when they themselves, or better yet, we ourselves cannot put our own house in order?
So I want to tell you my comeback to when people say that their vote's wasted. First of all, we don't steal votes, and votes aren't wasted. We earn our votes. And honestly, a vote for a libertarian, I feel like counts more. In my campaign in Hawaii, when I ran for US Senate, I did run a primary. And in the primary, I got like 700 votes, and I made it on the ballot. In that same primary, like UFC world champion, multiple belt holding world champion, homegrown native Hawaiian, like local hero, was running for governor in Hawaii. And he ran as a Republican. And he didn't make it past the primary. Also in that same race, and on the Democrat side, there was a woman that graduate of Harvard, head of the Better Business degree or Better Business Bureau, head of like businesses, right? And she was running as a Republican, or not Republican, excuse me, a Democrat. She was running as a Democrat, and she didn't get on the ballot either. And even on the same ballot, another person that didn't get on that ballot, that didn't make it through the primary, was the former House of Representative. Didn't make it on the ballot. And these were all young candidates. These were all candidates that were under 60. That's what I mean. I guess that's young for politics now. Is under 60 is young. I must be a baby in politics. And I'm okay with that. I'm all right to be the young person there. But those old games that those old parties are playing are detrimental to our country. We shouldn't have senators that have been in office for 50 years.
I,
Two is, one term as a senator, you walk away as a millionaire.
yeah,
You walk away as a millionaire, one term.
I know. And we've had senators like 50 years. We've even had governors that lasted 20 years. Rose of Ohio did like 16 of 20 years, 1963 to 1983. That was Governor Rhodes of Ohio. George
It's not a hard job.
George
I'm
Wallace did the
real
same
here.
thing in Alabama.
It's not construction. It's not working at a nuclear power plant. And it's, it's not even waiting tables. It's not that difficult of a job that it should have such a small funneling down. We should have more than 3 parties on the ballot. We should have 4 or 5. I can't believe that we would be just gaslit. I mean, I'm just saying gaslit too much probably, but that's the way I feel. I mean, I just feel like people are just, they are told these things and they see that it's not the truth when they look at their ballot and they see other candidates that aren't Republican or Democrat, and like how they could be so just gaslit into thinking that this is a game, that it's a win or lose. And when you go in to play the ballot like that, when you go to play politics like that, the only loser is you. It's the people that lose. It's us. We've got to get out of this idea of my team blue versus red team. It's not that.
Very
It's people
detrimental.
with people.
It's very detrimental.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, you cannot talk democracy or freedom to other countries if you don't practice it at home. I also told that to them too. I've had many people respond, but I just keep going. I've been on this road for a long time. I just turned 62.
Happy birthday.
So that's everything else. I do want to thank you for coming on such a short notice. And we will be putting this on the air as soon as possible. For all of us, from all of us in Florida, to the rest of the world, this is Roberto Alvarez-Galloso of the AG News Show. And not just do I say peace in, peace out, and peace everywhere, but remember the saying that I once said a long time ago. I'm being redundant here. Diversity without diversity of opinion is dictatorship. Best wishes.